Hello everyone, welcome to my review of Transformers Studio Series 86 Deluxe Class Bonecrusher, or as I like to call him, Crusher of Bones, because of the fact that, I don't know, I think it sounds actually funny, and it's something that I've always called him, but not him. Not this one. The movie one. The first live-action movie guy. I've always kind of called him the Crusher of Bones before I even had the YouTube channel, but now I'm doing it again. However, this guy looks less like a Crusher of Bones than the Bayverse one, because man, is this guy a fat guy. He looks so dumb, I will say that. I like it, but just because I like it doesn't mean that it doesn't have to be just a fat guy. But he just looks like a fat guy. But I still like it. Also, this piece here is for combination. This is probably for the arm configuration. But anyway, came loose in the box and I did not push it all the way through. I thought I did. There you go. Okay, yeah, I thought I did, but I did not. But anyway, there you go. He comes with that piece as well. So don't forget to attach it like this. So basically just like this, so like with the gap at the bottom, and then you just slide it on. There you go. But overall, here we have him, and man, is this guy green. This guy is super green. There's just like nothing but green on him. The color separation, it feels a bit boring compared to, you know, this guy who has a lot more purple and stuff like that. This guy is just green with a black backpack. That is what he is. But let's take a closer look. So we got his head sculpt right there. Once again, the flat surface that I think all the Constructicons have. Like I said, only got the two. And also you got the nice chest here, which is where most of the color separation happens, because we got the red, we got the purple. Ooh, what a nice chest. And then also you got this whole thing. By the way, this does tab in, but also it restricts him. But we'll talk more about that one later. And then also you got the details here on the arms as well. I always forget to talk about details because of the fact that, I don't know, I never really notice it. And also you got actually some details here in the threads as well. You got a little bit of like stuff in there. I don't know what to call it. And then also you got the flat feet right there. Very nice. But overall, this is a very nice looking guy. And obviously here he is from the back. But it's just so green. He's just so green. Also, to anyone wondering, I do not actually own the Combiner Wars Devastator figure. So I have no idea what that guy is like. So no comparison either. The only one that you're gonna get for this big set is actually Vortex, because he's the only one that I got. But anyway, overall, like I said, a good guy. So let's move you out of the way for like the gun. And here we have his little pistol with the scope as well. Looking very nice, and obviously he can just hold it in his hand if he wants to and shoot up Autobots. So you got a hole here in the back where you can store it if you want to. Yeah, there doesn't really seem to be any other hole. I mean, there you got some screw holes, but those are not big enough. But there you go, here's Fat Man with his fat gun as well. You think that Bonecrusher's the cat caller of the group or not? Because of the fact that they're all construction workers and they love doing that. But yeah, the gun also kind of does look a bit puny though, but whatever. Anyway, let's get the gun out of here so we can get into that articulation segment where we're going to talk about how hampered he is a little bit. Anyway, starting off, he has a head rotation that actually moves on a weird way because of the fact that, you know, I don't know, it looks weird from my perspective. You'll know more about it when you get him. And also you got a little bit up looking as well. You can be like, then you got an arm rotation here, out, in and out. You got you got detaching here, so you can do that. There's a joint if you want to. But anyway, you got a ball joint here, so this can go all the way around and in and out as well. Nothing at the hand. The waist. Now there we go. Here we are. The problem of this guy, because he has an actual waist rotation. But you gotta untap that piece. He has a waist rotation. It is right here. He even has a little bit of an ab crunch if you want to. Like, you can do a little bit of an ab crunch with him as well. You could do a little bit of an ab crunch if you want to. But one little problem is the fact that since this piece tabs into here, it effectively just negates the waist rotation, which is kind of sad. Doesn't necessarily tab in all that well, but whatever. Anyway, then also you got the leg that can go forward, and it can go back. It can go in and out, rotation, bend, okay, bend at the knee. There's a little bit of a thing here that actually locks it into place. So you got the bend at the knee. Maybe it's because of the fact of the threads, and also you got ankle tilt, and the feet can collapse in on themselves, obviously, for transformation. So there you go, but you got that ankle tilt. And overall, you know what, even though he does not have a waist joint, it is understandable Kind of. I do kind of wish they were able to maybe put a waist rotation lower, but because of this whole piece being part of the transformation, that's not gonna happen. Also, if you want to, you can actually give him a bit of a sunroof, as you want to say, you know, in case, you know, potentially the sun is in his eyes, you can kind of block it, which I like as well. And there you go with the articulation. So then let's move straight into SAS comparison, boys. So starting off, here he is with Scrapper, obviously. You got the two of them together. I can't wait to own the rest of them, man. I'm already getting excited to get the rest of them, but since here in the Netherlands everything is super slow, it's gonna be taking me a long time to complete them. Then afterwards, here we have Starscream and Lord Galvatron together with Bonecrusher, or Crusher of Bones, obviously. But here they are together. I really want that 86 Mega Man, but I cannot get that Megatron because he hasn't been released, sadly enough. So the next up, which is also last up, we have Shockwave and Soundwave, boys. Looking very good with the fat man himself. Shall I be calling this guy Fisk or not? Let's get these out of here. Let's pull the Crusher of Bones closer and let's get into that transformation. So now let's get Bonecrusher transformed into his vehicular form, and he does some actually kind of interesting stuff during the transformation that personally I did not expect. But anyway, what you want to do first, you want to rotate the arms around, and then you got the double hinge, and then this tab here is going to slide into that slot right there. So basically you just want to push this all the way up. And make sure you do push it all the way up, otherwise you're gonna have issues. So rotate this around and then push it all the way up like so, and then you want to find the slot, and there you go. After that, what you want to do is you want to take this helmet piece here or whatever, you want to push that up, take this piece here, rotate it back, and then also I guess you can untap this, but what you want to do here is you want to basically take this and put it all the way back, rotate these two arm pieces around, and then rotate them, let's see here, rotate them in, no, not like that, like that, there you go, but keep them kind of straight, and then there's a tab slot connection in there. That happens, so you want to basically tap that together, and then you can also just push this back in. There we are, and then also fold in the head to kind of get that bad boy out of the way. And rotate this up, and after that, what you want to do is you want to fold in the feet. Fold in the feet. So then what you want to do is you want to fold this piece in here, just get that all snug like so. And then afterwards we gotta get these bad boys attached as well. And you have a slot here, but also a slot here that this tab is going to slide into. Because on this side you got like two tabs, they're going to slide into gaps there, and also you got the tab there. So basically you can just get this sorted. There you go, 1 and 2. Tap this whole piece here together. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to rotate this down and then tab it in. And that is how he's supposed to look. There we go. Here we got the Crusher of Bones in his vehicular form. So here we have the Crusher of Bones in his construction vehicle mode, because I don't actually know what this is, but whatever. Anyway, here he is, and man, is he green. Also, I don't know how, but with my jacket, I accidentally poked myself in the eye when I grabbed him. So, yeah, that wasn't really fun. But anyway, here he is, and he is very, very green. I will say that right now. Like, there's not really much color separation, but neither was there in robot mode. But let's pull you in closer so that we can really look at you. But overall, he doesn't look all that bad. Stay together, that's sadly enough. Why? Look at this gap here. I can't get rid of it. Like, there. And it puts back out. Okay, whatever. Anyway, here we have him, and overall, you know what? I actually very much like him, and also his transformation. His transformation was actually great to do because of the fact that, like, I wasn't expecting to pull him apart and put the arms, like, right here. You know, I was kind of more expecting it to be the more of a traditional transformation, but yeah, here we got the only real color breakup that he has, outside of, like, the black from the head here, and that is the purple. Yay, we got some purple going on. And then here is his back, once again fully green. However, if I do have to make a complaint about this guy, why are there no tiny little wheels under the treads so that he can roll? Because this thing cannot roll. Also, you got some color there, but this thing cannot roll. He cannot roll. This is so stupid. Because at least with the other figures, they always put like tiny little wheels in here so that he can actually roll. Why are there no tiny little wheels? That is so dumb. But outside of that, you know what? I don't hate this thing, but it is definitely his weaker mode, though. So then, let us move into the weapon. So we can put the weapon in here, the big hole back here. Obviously, that's where you can put the gun. There you go. That's the gun storage. I wonder why he has like this little thing. Is that like a smokestack or something like poking out? Also, by the way, he has some articulation down here. With this thing, he can just do that. He can do that. It's not as impressive as with Scrapper, where he can just actually go high, and then also with untabbing can go higher. This guy can't really go all that high. I mean, you can technically untab it in order to do that, but you can still not really go all that high. No, don't do that wrong again, because I keep doing that. But that's the weapon stores. Let's get the weapon out of here. And then, well, we're done. We're done. That's it. We have no articulation, no wheels, no rolling. So let's go into SAS comparison. Starting off here, he is with Scrapper, his buddy and only friend, to be honest, because I don't have any of the other Constructicons. But here they are together, looking very nice together. Big fan of the way that they look together, and I cannot wait for the rest of them. It also seems like my eye has finally healed from the poking of the jacket, which I don't even know how I did that. It's just like, ow. I just poked myself in the eye. But anyway, let's get you out of here so that we can bring in Starscream and Galvatron, and they look really good with Crusher of Bones himself. Oh, also Crusher of Bones has some nice little silver here. Kind of weird though, but whatever. He has some nice silver in there. Just wanted to mention that. Saw it right now. Thought I'd mention it. But anyway, here he is with them, so let's get them out of here. Here we have him with Kit from Knight Rider, looking really cool as well. Very out of skill, but who cares? You know what? It's all for fun anyway. And then here we got Soundwave and Shockwave, boys. Yes, indeed. Final size comparison set with my two favorite Decepticons. Love them to death. So let's get them out of here. Pull you in closer so we can get into their reverse transformation. So let's get the Crusher of Bones back into his robotic mode. So what you want to start off with, you can take this and extend it all the way out. Then afterwards come back here and push on these side pieces here in order to kind of get these things untapped and rotate them down. Then afterwards you want to come in between here, obviously, for the feet splitting. Like so. There you go. We'll deal more with this once we get the rest of the pieces in place. After that, what you want to do is you want to rotate this out, rotate this backwards and away from there. Then afterwards, you want to split these pieces up and rotate them around like so. And then you want to, well, lift up the head, obviously. Well, we'll deal with you later. And then you want to rotate this up and... Oh, wait, no. Sorry, I thought you had to extend it. You just have to rotate the head all the way around. Rotate the head all the way around and then rotate this up, and that will get it into place. Then afterwards, fold this piece down here and also fold that back down as well. After that, what you want to do is you want to rotate this back. Somehow that got out of alignment. And then you want to extend this fully, and then this tab here is going to slide into that slot right there. And then fold this up like so. Then to finish up the figure, you want to untab the arm from the upper arm, I guess, and rotate it out. Do the same thing on the other side. So just untab this, rotate it all the way out, rotate these bad boys down, rotate these bad boys down, rotate the lower arm around so that it is sitting more to the front. And here we have Fat Man back in his robotic mode. So here we have the Crusher of Bones back in his robot mode. And here we are at final thoughts. So what do I think about this Fat Man? Well, I do like him. However, he is very limited and also very boring to look at. Now, this might be accurate to the G1 show. I actually do not remember because I really only remember Devastator. So I'm not necessarily going to complain about the lack of colors. I did not do that for Wheeljack because it was accurate to the show, so I shall not do it here either. However, as a figure, there are better deluxes out there. That is just the problem. Look, this thing is great if you were building Devastator. But like the fact that there is no waist rotation, unless obviously you untap this, you get a full waist rotation. But outside of that, you know, he is kind of boring to look at. And also, he's just meh. In that sense. Outside of the whole Devastator stuff, I will say that this figure is kind of meh. I will say Scrapper is a lot more fun to handle. That design, at least, is a lot more fun to handle. But I will not say that this figure is necessarily bad. It's just, I think that there's a lot more you can get for about 30 bucks, which is the price here in the Netherlands for the Deluxe. So you can get a lot more figures, like even like Huffer. I don't know. First thing that I thought of, actually. I looked to the side, see Huffer, and I'm like, Huffer. Or even Sideswipe, or any of the Sideswipe friends, like Wheeljack from Armada or Red Alert, you know, any of them, you know, those are more worth it than this guy. However, if you are building Devastator, obviously this guy is a must. And to be honest, he is actually kind of fun, but there's more fun out there. But that has been my review of Transformers Studio Series 86 Deluxe Class Crusher of Bones, aka Bone Crusher. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on that bell, and comment your thoughts on this figure. And please check out my Let's Play channel, linked in the description and at the end of the video. I upload 3 videos every day of different games, but mainly Pokemon. And I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye!